This is the 2024 GMC Hummer SUV. It's the Edition 1 model, and in today's Vehicle Visionary video, we're going to give you the information to answer the question, is it worth every penny? Hey everybody, it's Tom from Vehicle Visionary. Today, Carrie and I have borrowed this 2024 GMC Hummer from our friends at Mike Morgan Buick GMC. It is for sale. Now, it is technically used. It has under 2,000 miles on it. I'll leave a link in the description of the video so you can learn more. Let's take a look. So the first thing that you notice here is that it looks like a Hummer. That's good. It really blows away the H3 in a multitude of ways because of its aggressive looks. And the good thing about it is that it's not just a look. The off-road capabilities, or really any driving situation capabilities of this model, is not just cosmetic, it's real. You also even have skid plates. Let's see if I can get down here. Hopefully you can hear that. That's not plastic, that's plastic. So you can tell the difference in the sounds. Here on the front end, full LED lighting. Let me get over here on this side so my shadow's not in the way. Full LED lighting. You're gonna have your headlights down here on the lower portion of the bumper. That's actually really good placement for that because of the height of the vehicle. Now the good thing about that is that those lights are actually angled down to just enough of a degree to where you're not going to be blinding anybody when you're driving towards them on the road and they're in the oncoming lane. Obviously your turn signal indicators up here, you can see everything that's there, but something I really like is that this Hummer logo right here, all of that is lit up. A little bit hard to see that in the bright Louisiana sunshine. I don't know if we can do anything to really help you with that, but hopefully the camera is picking that up. And in the event that you need to pull somebody out of the snow, the mud, the sand, whatever, you've got these very strong tow hooks right here that you almost have to go and do a workout to move them. They're very, very strong, a lot of tension there. There's your GMC logo, and we have air intake here to help cool the battery. And for 2024, one thing that is a positive change is the inclusion of a 20 module battery pack. And what exactly does that mean? That means if one module goes bad, the whole thing doesn't have to be replaced. That's good news. We'll also find our forward-facing camera is going to be right there. And obviously this model is all-wheel drive. Let's talk about tire and wheel size. So these are going to be very rugged tires. This model has true off-roading capability. So we're looking at 305 on our width right here. That's this area right here, the tread pattern. And the sidewall, probably don't have to tell you exactly where that is, but for those who don't know, it's right here. That's 55, a 55 series wrapped around these nice, large 22-inch wheels. And here's something interesting to show you. First of all, I'm going to show you the remote. Everything you can expect is going to be there. Remote start is there, and you also have the ability to open the rear door and the e-trunk. Speaking of the e-trunk, let's do that. So here's what happens. I'm going to push that button 2 times, and you'll notice that the e-trunk will open. Let's see if it'll go ahead and open for us. Well, it's not cooperating. Let's see here. Come on. There we go. It didn't like me the first time. There's a reason why we're showing you this. Kind of interesting to see things working in real time. Here's all the space we have. There is a lot. If you wanted to take a nap in there, well, you actually could. I don't recommend it, but there is room for that. And when you finished your nap, if you lowered the e-trunk for privacy purposes, you could just hit the button right there and open things back up again. You also have your power outlet right here and some lighting. The H logo for the Hummer and EV, pretty obvious what that is, but it's there, just a nice little touch. But here is something that's very interesting. So I'm going to come back here a little bit. Watch this. When I push the button twice, you'll see the lights flash and hear the beeps, but the trunk doesn't come down. You actually have to hold that down, and if you let go of it when it's in motion, come on, cooperate with me. There we go. If you let go of it when it's in motion, it will actually go back up. And so probably a safety feature of some sort, something along those lines. Now let's go to the side of the vehicle right here. And you can see right here with the fender flares, I really like the way that looks. Kind of a glossy look, but it's not a piano black finish, but it has that kind of metallic finish to it, or kind of a sparkly finish, we'll say. So that really, I think, adds some nice character to the vehicle. It just looks right. Here is our logo on the side door, looks appropriate. And then on the steps right here, you have kind of a rough finish. It's not exactly what I would call graphite, maybe it is, but one way or another, it's a little bit softer than graphite usually is with that type of finish, but it has a rough enough texture to where if your shoes were wet, you wouldn't slip. So that helps. We do have some gloss down here as well with, again, that kind of sparkly finish, that metallic finish right there. So I think that looks really nice. It just seems to fit and be in the right places with all of the different looks and the patterns and everything that are here. And something else that a lot of people ask about with these vehicles. Does it have power folding side view mirrors? It does have power folding side view mirrors. They do have the ability to be adjusted power. There's cameras built in and blind spot monitoring is there as well. So a lot going on. We could almost do a full review just on the mirrors. And the thing I like with these doors is that they are frameless. In fact, let me open everything up. There you go. A frameless door, a really clean look. I think that really fits for this particular vehicle. And something else you'll notice here is going to be the fact that you have these chrome buttons on each door, not only on the front, but also on the rear. That's called passive entry. What that does is when you have the remote in your possession, you walk up to the vehicle, you can lock or unlock the vehicle. Now, obviously you have plenty of glass up here. You have the panels inside. We'll show you that in just a little bit. The gloss black trim in the areas where we find it, I believe, is appropriately placed. That looks good. It seems to match. The real boxiness, well, it's a Hummer. It's supposed to look that way. And we continue that same look with the fender flares here onto the rear. That flows its way onto the section of the side right here to the rear bumper. That works really well. We're gonna have our tail lights back here. In fact, let's do this just to kind of show you everything. There we go. Kind of show you that sideways H. See that right there? GMC logo is also here, but one thing you'll find here that is not common on EVs, your full-size spare tire. EVs and a lot of hybrids do not come with a spare tire, so that's good to know. A little bit of added value, really a lot of added value and peace of mind. Also, we have another tow hook right here. That one is even more aggressive than the front ones. I can't even move that. I'm not gonna try to. I might be able to, but if I broke something, I'd be spending a little more money than I need to today. And some detail back here to talk about. We have a few different cameras. Number one, there's a camera right up here. You might have noticed that earlier in the video. There's also a camera down here. We'll get down and give you a good view of that. And then within the confines of the rim right here, you'll find the H's in multiple places. That's kind of a nice little touch. It's just little things you might not notice if you weren't watching a video and able to take your time seeing what's here. And one more thing about lighting. You might have noticed the lights up here on the roof. Those look nice, but they're actually there intentionally. The DOTD requires those because of the size of the vehicle. Speaking of the size of the vehicle, let's talk about MPGEs, horsepower, all that kind of stuff. So I'm gonna let Carrie give you a quick look around the vehicle here. As we start with our MPGEs, here's what we're going to have. 59 city, 48 highway, 63 kilowatt hours per every 100 miles driven, and 53 MPGEs combined. Now, horsepower and torque, 1,000 horsepower, 1,200 pounds-feet of torque, a direct drive transmission. That means it's basically high gear only. 0 to 60 in 3.3 seconds. The weight of the vehicle, I was a little off when I told you earlier, 9,000 pounds. It's actually 9,640 pounds. Quarter mile, 1190 or 11.9 seconds at 106 miles per hour, which is the governed top speed of the vehicle. 329 miles on range. DC fast charging will charge 100 miles per every 10 minutes roughly. Maybe you're that person that's saying, well, Tom, you said this model is available. I'd like to buy it. Does the wrap come off? That's actually not a wrap. The exterior color on this model is true paint. It's called Moonshot Green Matte. It looks like a wrap, but since it's basically a matte finish or a flat finish, it doesn't have clear coat on it, that's why it looks like it does. And how about capabilities? It's supposed to be able to tow up to 7,500 pounds. That's not too bad. And there's a couple of different ways you can open the rear door back here. You can do it with a button that's located right down here under the tail light. I'm going to let Carrie come in and show you where that is. I'm pointing to it. That's it right there. Or you can use this button on the remote right here. Now, unlike the e-trunk, when you open this area, you have to hold the button down. You have to push it twice, and on that second push, you have to hold it down. If you don't, then the action will actually stop, whether you're opening or closing. So we're looking at 35.9 up to 81.8 cubic feet of cargo capacity. And even with the seats in their upright position as they are right now, there's a lot of space here. But to lower the rear seats, I'm going to push these buttons right here. I'm just going to push that one time, and all you have to do is push that. You don't have to hold it down. That's a nice thing. They do sit relatively flat, lay relatively flat, so that's a good thing. You also have a lunar map right here. Kind of fits with the paint color, doesn't it? So interesting if you're wondering what that is. And a lot of space underneath the floor as far as storage capability goes. It would be nice if you could hold this floor up, or if the floor would actually hold itself up when you got it to a certain point. But that's just the way it is here. And I do think, well, actually, no, it's not removable. I thought I'd be able to pull that out. We didn't try that earlier in the video, but you can see what is there. Now, you'll have to go and lift those seats back up because these controls right here only let them down. So in case you were curious about that, well, there's the situation. Over there on the left-hand side, well, you have a lot of space right there. A nice little storage bin right there, pretty deep it looks like. Let's see here, I'm gonna put my hand down in there and find out real quick how deep that is. Yeah, it goes to about right here, so have that. You also have tie-down points right here. There is going to be a household power outlet right there. So a lot going on here. Now, we've done a video on a Hummer in the past, and I guess I goofed in my condensed time frame to film that video and didn't show the back seat, and somebody needed to go talk to their psychiatrist about it because they were so upset in the comments section. We're not going to do that a second time. So let's look at the back seat. And one thing I didn't mention earlier in the video, where's your charge port? Well, it's right here. You just open that up. You have a couple of different options depending on what you're charging on. You can also use this area down here, so you can use your DC fast charging if you want to. A lot of different options where that's concerned. And the thing about that is that's not power, so you don't have to really worry about that. You'll notice that I just push on that and have to open that up manually. Not a big deal. And you also have rear wheel steering. The best way to show you that is to just get in the vehicle and actually show you. So what I'm going to do is just turn the wheel here and give you a good in-action look at what goes on with that. So a really neat setup, a really neat feature as far as that is concerned. And one more thing before we hop into the back seat, I promise we're getting there. Don't go to your psychiatrist just yet. Air shocks. Look at how big these things are. I've got my hand right there just as a reference. Those things are monstrous. So that's one reason why you're gonna have such a smooth ride quality. Okay, the angels are now officially singing, "It's the back seat," for those who want to see that. So let's take a look at what we have. And we'll start with the door panel. We'll look over there on Carrie's side. First of all, let's do the armrest test and see what the verdict is. We'll let Carrie tell you what he thinks with the thumbs up, neutral thumb, or thumbs down. Yeah, it looks like it's a kind of neutral. One thing that's interesting about it, it does have some really nice materials here, but it's just not that big. But you know what? For most of you watching this video, you're probably going to be sitting right here, so it doesn't really matter because you'll be in the driver's seat. The door bin, pretty large. I think that will get the job done. And the thing I like about the way this is set up is not only is there a lot of space right there, but you also have the built-in cup holder up here in the front area. So that's nice. I think that's a nice touch. I like the way that looks. And as we look into the interior, let's hop on inside here. I'm going to close the door. And Carrie can hopefully show you a good view of all of the glass up here. Very, very nice. These panels here, which are, by the way, removable. That's why you have the releases right there. So We're not going to remove those in today's video, but all 4 are removable. So as long as you see these latches, you know they're removable. Plenty of room back here. In fact, let's see if I can show you some of the action of the seats here. So there's that, and it does recline just a little bit beyond the position where I have it right now. So that works out pretty well for those who may want reclining seats for their rear seat passengers. We also have the fold-down armrest with the cup holders built in. And the thing I like here is that you have what seems to be nice high-end materials, but when you run your hand on them like that, you know it's durable. It's going to hold up. That's always good. And I'll tell you what, to say there's no lack of space, boy, that's an understatement. Plenty of room. And if you're tall enough, I guess you could just lean forward a little bit and you'd have even extra room, or just take that panel out and you could stick your head out of the roof if you wanted to. I guess it could be done. And a little bit of storage. Seat pockets on the rear of both seats. Some of the vehicles we show you here on the Vehicle Visionary YouTube channel only have 1. You better, for this price point, have 2. And the control center right here. For the 3rd zone of climate control, you can control temperature, fan speed. You have the heated seats. You also have USB options right here, and the air conditioning vents seem to be flowing pretty good air. They're small, but they seem to flow a pretty good bit of air. I can feel the cool air coming out of there, no problem, and a little bit of space right underneath. And for those of you who are saying, all right, Tom, before we move on in the video, what does it sound like if this Hummer is moving around? Here's the answer to your question. And for those of you who are saying, all right, Tom, you've shown us so much. It's almost as if you're teasing us, keeping us on the edge of our seats. What's the price? $111,978. Let's see what else you get for the money if you come in and buy this model. The door panel over there, a little bit more space with the armrest. Basically the same materials, the same setup, but a little more room. Now, one thing that will be different where that's concerned is going to be the door bin. A very large door bin, but you don't have that upper section with the cup holder built in there. It's actually in the lower section down there. So, in case you were curious about that. And if we look down at the speaker cover, there is that lunar map. Again, that's not the only other place we'll see it. That's place number 2 that we've seen it so far. But let's talk about the seats first. So right here with the seats, power adjustable, that's a given. Heated and ventilated, that's probably a given too at the price point of the vehicle. And they're very comfortable, nice materials that seem very durable. Now, you will have your Hummer logo here on kind of a plate. That's plastic, but it seems to be good sturdy plastic instead of being sewn into the seat. I honestly think that fits with the vehicle. Now, we'll let Carrie use the grab handle and hop on up into the Hummer, because that's literally what you're doing when you hop in here. You're hopping up. Now, if we look at the air conditioning vents over there, it has kind of a bronzy finish to it, kind of a brown color, but it has that sideways H pattern. You'll obviously see that in several different vehicles on the exterior and interior of the vehicle. And the glove box. We only have one glove box down there on that lower portion, but there's plenty of room in there. As usual, no gloves to be found, but that's not out of the ordinary. And as we work our way over, let's take a look at the mirror. You do have the rear view camera mirror. You can make adjustments on this side if you need to in a few different ways. Once you get used to that, it's easy to deal with. And let's talk about the center screen. I really like what we have here. Very easy to deal with, a nice modern look. You can see that you have Android Auto and Apple CarPlay right here. Wireless connectivity for your cell phone, so that's a good thing as far as all of that goes. And what about our camera views? Well, let's go here to our views here. We'll take a look at the 2 different views, front and rear. We're also going to have our overhead views. And notice you have the 2 dots right there, the orange and the gray right there. That means you have 2 different views. In case you were wondering why it looks that way, There's our camera, our views through the cameras on the side view mirrors, I should say. And then we'll come back here. And you have your overhead view as well. That's always nice to see, because that way with a large vehicle like this, you can see what's going on all around the vehicle.
Vehicle Visionary fans and YouTube watchers, hey, it's Kerry for Kerry's Driving Lounge today. Hummer EV Edition. I am not familiar with this vehicle. I love doing Kerry's Driving Lounge when I'm not familiar with something, so we can learn about it together, and let's hunt and peck our way through this. What do we have here? Let's see what we have going on here. Down here we have your electronic park brake. There's the button here to lift up your front trunk. There's the button to open the back tailgate, lane departure. This vehicle has a button right here for one touch down on all of your windows, but it does not one touch up. So once you let them down, you have to let them back up yourself. We were looking at this button here trying to figure out what it is. It's a little power cord. You push it, the light turns on, but nothing in the vehicle happens. So I'm not sure what that button is for. There is your dashboard dimmer switch to make it lighter or darker. Here's your button for your steering wheel, for your telescope and tilt. We all know how to work that. And let me close this door. Steering wheel, very nice 3-spoke steering wheel. Nice leather feel. Not overly thick, but it does feel comfortable in the hand. You have a stock here for your lights, automatic, your parking lights, your headlights, and you have turn signals on the same stock. Left turn signal, there it is, it works. Right turn signal, works. Make sure you use them, folks. On the other side, you have a stock for your wiper controls, your mister, your back door lights, not lights, your back door squirters for the wipers back there, and your intermittent controls also. On your spoke on the left side of your steering wheel, you have the usual things: cruise control, turn it off, turn it on, and reset it. You have your distance to the vehicle in front of you right there, and your lane departure gauge there. You have the knob here for for turning on your phone or activating your voice control, and those there. On your stock, on your steering wheel stock, you also have a button right here. I'm going to show you for the brake regeneration right there. On the back of the steering wheel, let me see if I can get behind the steering wheel right here. There's also a button right there for your music, for your channel station controller. And on the back of it, on the other side, you have your volume control right there. The top one is for volume up, the bottom one is for volume down. On your center screen here, you have, it's all digital, very, very clear. It shows you various things. You have drift angle on here, G-force. It shows you your battery power right there from 0 to 100%. Shows how many miles you have left to go on this battery charge, 211. Shows that I'm in park. And the mileage on this vehicle right here, very low mileage, 1,873 miles. It has a compass right here that shows that we're headed in a northwest direction as we're sitting in this parking lot. Very, very nice vehicle. Up top here we have the visor, which is for the size of this vehicle. That visor, I believe, is pretty thin. It's not much thicker than a dollar bill. Probably a dollar bill is probably longer. It does stretch out, but it doesn't cover nearly enough of the window for the size of this door window. But that's what you get. You have your controls here for a garage door. You have visor with a light in it. You have your usual controls up here up top. You have your interior lights, your OnStar? Yeah, it's OnStar, your passenger airbag and on off. And there's a bunch of buttons up here that I'm not sure what they do, but there they are. So when you're not familiar, you kind of like learn it when you get the vehicle, when you come spend your $100,000+ on it. Over here we have the seat belt adjuster for if you're tall or short. You can adjust that up or down as you like, as you need. In this center console, we didn't talk about below the center. Let me open this door back up. there is a space down here where you can put anything that's large enough to fit in there, but there's no connectivity down there, but it's pretty big. It goes all the way through to the other side. A lot of room down there. Another thing I want to show you before I end this is when Tom was showing the controls for the seats. When you show your ventilated seats, when you turn your ventilated seats on, watch the little fan blade there. Let me go back over there. The fan blade has a graphic and it turns. And the fan for the vehicle, also, the fan there, the blade turns. Pretty cool graphic. I don't think anybody else is doing anything like that. I want to thank the owner of this vehicle for allowing us to review it today, since it is a fairly brand new vehicle. Very nice.
Show the mileage.
I did. I'm going to show the mileage in this vehicle again. 1,873 miles. Carrie's Driving Lounge today. See you next time.
All right, tell me what you think about the 2024 GMC Hummer Edition 1. Is it worth every penny? Well, if it is to you, don't forget, check out the link in the description of the video, because you can still come into Mike Morgan Buick GMC and buy this exact model. And then you can send our video to your friends and show off your new ride. So I do want to say a special thanks to not only the owner, but also our friend Glenn at the dealership for getting us the remote for this model. No test drive today for obvious reasons. This vehicle's on consignment at the dealership, so we just drove it a few feet back and forth. But hopefully eventually we'll get to do a full test drive on this model or another one. Hey, if you buy it, maybe we can do it that way. So we do want to say a special thanks to each and every one of you for being kind enough to take the time to watch. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the like button for us. That helps us out a lot. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't done so already. That way you don't miss any future videos or tongue twist moments. And if you would like to learn about additional vehicles you may wish to consider purchasing, check out the video that's right here on the screen, and we'll see you there.